Hello! The video demonstrates the systematic processes of writing learning outcomes alignment. So, how can learning outcomes be aligned? This video covers these contents. 1. Definition of alignment. 2. Learning outcomes alignment in higher education. 3. Learning outcomes alignment for learning. 4. Alignment of course or unit in Australia context. Learning outcomes with program learning outcomes. And 5. Alignment of program learning outcomes with Cambodia Qualifications framework. Alignment is a process of linking all the key elements included in the course learning outcomes to the external level of the National Qualification Framework. It is also one of the most important methods for the course and program and university accreditation. As a common practice, the procedures of designing learning outcomes alignment are classified into 4 main levels: course learning outcomes, program learning outcomes, university graduate attributes, and the National Qualification Framework. In other words, these 4 main levels of learning outcomes need to be coherent, consistent, and precise. In the figure, the CQF contains 8 levels. Thus are the learning outcomes of the course, programs, and also graduate attributes in any specific levels must be aligned with that level and qualifications in CQF. This slide illustrates how to design course learning outcomes. This initial and fundamental step is to write course outcomes that the teacher or coordinator develops what the students will be able to do upon the completion of the course. Thus, he or she needs to identify what curriculum content to teach, how to teach, and how to assess students' learning. To achieve course learning outcomes, learning activities, and assessment need to be aligned. For example, a master course in education policy, which is the level 7 in CQF, the teacher uses different methods in learning outcomes, learning activities, and assessment. Course learning outcomes contribute partly to the overall program learning outcomes. Thus, they need to be aligned in the program outcomes, which commonly contains 3 main domains: knowledge, skills, and attitude. In this second step, the course itself demonstrates why the individual course needs to be included in the program curriculum. As an example, to align one domain stated in the program outcomes, which is the skill, the course outcomes indicated as one of the key course outcomes. The third step of the alignment is to match the program outcomes with the university graduate attributes, in that how the program demonstrates the graduates' acquired intended learning outcomes upon the completion of the degrees. Normally, the university graduate attributes are broader and more generic skills, not only just the academic skills. One of the main challenges is to align the university graduates' learning outcomes with CQF, in that the 3 initial processes of the learning outcome alignment at the university level needs to correspond to CQF. It is also one of the most critical steps for the course, program, and university accreditation conducted by the external bodies. In this step, the university programs need to match with the specific level of qualifications of CQF. This is one of the most critical steps to demonstrate how the programs meet the national standards. For instance, the master course, which is level 7 in the CQF, must demonstrate the alignment of CQF at level 7 and qualifications. As shown here, one of the domains, the cognitive skill, is illustrated. In summary, to systematically design learning outcomes alignment, each level of learning outcomes needs to be clearly prescribed, and those who involve in developing each level of learning outcomes need to clearly understand all levels of outcomes to make them coherent. For example, the course teacher or coordinator needs to understand about program outcomes, university graduate attributes, and national qualifications framework to enable them to write his or her course to meet the program outcomes, university graduate attributes, and national qualifications framework. Thank you very much for your attention. Please refer to the appendixes for further understanding of the learning outcomes alignment development processes.